Hello YouTube, this is Sandeep, and in this episode we are going to look at Zoom's new Podtrak-P4. Zoom has a history of making good handy recorders and field recorders like H1, H1, H2N, H5, and then H6, and also field recorders like F6 and all that stuff, right? And the major problem which I used to face with Zoom recorders is that whenever they're connected as audio interface, they would always have an issue with it. That is, they would not record the audio with the audio interface running. So this particular device which has been released by Zoom is a fantastic device if you want to just do that. And also with the COVID situation being there and a lot of people getting on to Zoom calls, not this Zoom of course, and the Zoom calls, this kind of greatly benefits them, especially if you want to record the audio portion of the meeting without having to inform the people on the call that you're actually recording the output of the meeting. So that's another benefit of this particular device. And also I'm so thrilled by this device because of the fact that it has been done very neatly and the layout has been done really well. Of course, there are drawbacks to every device, like the plastic quality may not be great, and the way it has been done or executed may not appeal to many people, right? So that may be the situation with a lot of people complaining about this device. But for me, if you look at it, it's really very simple. First, it has got four inputs, that is one, two, three, four. Probably it has four preamps. But what Zoom has done is a really neat stuff. What neat stuff they've done is below each one of these, they have marked it for mic, and this one is for phone, if you see the third option, and this one is for USB, which basically means that if you want to use mics, all the four mics, all that you need to do is set it for the mic settings. Now, if you don't want to use it for the mics, but you want to use it for phone, you just need to slide the slider to the phone and it'll take the input from this input, that is TRRS cable, either connected to your phone or iPad or any of those devices, right? And this one will be USB, which means if you're connecting it from USB-C to USB-A of your computer or USB-C to USB-C of your computer, the output of that can come into this lane and get recorded. So basically, you don't need to do any kind of setting when you buy this device. All that you need to do is just adjust this device in such a way that it gets connected and you are good to go there, right? Second option they have provided is the mute switches. So basically you're saying that if you want to mute yourself when you're on a call, you don't need to worry about it. You don't need to go into the software, click here, click there. Sometimes you have two software, so two buttons to click when you're unmuting yourself. So you don't need to do any of that. You just need to mute yourself here and job is done. And that takes care of it very well. The next good stuff they've done is giving these pad buttons basically to let people hear the music when you're putting them on hold. Of course, this is, if you ask me, for me, it is more of a good option to have. I'm not going to use this more often, but nothing wrong in providing a feature which you may want to use, especially for podcasters who may want to put people on hold and keep everything ready while they wait for the time to start their podcast, right? That's a good thing. So then they also have the volume for this pad music to go on to the podcast itself. So that's also there. Now here we have the button layout for the menu here. That's basically menu, up and down, and then you have record and stop, play. So this is as simple as that. So once you have everything laid out, once you have everything connected, all that you need to do is hit this record button and it starts recording. You don't need to do any other setting. Of course, you will have to set the time and the date correctly. Otherwise, all your time and date will be off. Apart from that, I haven't done any setting in this. So then at the bottom, if you see, you have volume controls for your headphone out, which is over here. So you can have the headphones connected to this device and you can listen into people talking. Of course, you may say that, hey, I've heard people from other reviews saying the headphone preamps are not that great and it creates a little bit of hiss and noise and everything like that. That may be true, and I do agree with people who have made those comments, because when I was recording, I also found that there is a little bit of a hiss when I listen to this music or listen to this podcast coming out of this. But there's nothing wrong in this price point, because If you're using this device, the main idea for this device is for the listener to get a feedback of what he's recording or what he's saying, and to have a controlled audience. So I don't blame them for giving a little bit cheaper preamps, but if they had included a better one, I would have really appreciated, but that didn't happen yet. So that's one of the negatives which I can say about this particular device. And having said that, that's not a major drawback for me, but still good. Let's power up this device and see what is there in the menu option. So the power button is to the right here, and if you click on that power button, the Zoom lights up. It has several power options. You can power it through USB. It has included two AA batteries. You can use that one as well for recording and powering up this device. And once you power it up, it takes a few seconds to boot up, and once it's booted up, I think it's all good to record. And I've seen that once it's booted up and done, I haven't seen any bugs or anything like that. It's kind of closed out or done anything with it. So what I have done for my podcast setup, or for my Skype and Zoom and other kind of meeting setup, I have connected this Movo mic, which I found off of Amazon, and it's rated pretty high. And that's connected to the Rode XLR connection, which gives the power supply as well. So if I set it up to the condenser mic setting, it kind of provides the power supply of 5 volts, which is required for this required to drive this Movo mic as well, right? So I have done that setup, so I don't need to set up a separate mic or anything like that while I take this device and connect it to a laptop, and it's very easy for me to run with it. So I also have this setup here. As you can see, I'm just going to lay it down. So as you can see, I have tripods here, and I have this I think Mi Photo cell phone connection, which I use it to mount this particular device, that Zoom Podtrak-P4. So it all kind of bundles up into a neat feature for recording and playing back, and for Skype and Zoom calls. Now, having done all of that, let's take a look at the menu system here. So if you click on the menu, the first option you get are the files. So where the files are being stored. So if you hit enter, you can open up and see the files which have been recorded. So if in order to go back, you press the menu buttons and it will go back. And there are arrow keys up and down, so you can use those to go. And when you click next, it is the sound pad. So if you enter, it will show you what is set up as sound pads, and then you can choose if there is any other audio you want to assign it to. And there are other options as well, where you can say play mode, what kind of play mode you want, sound assignment, what kind of assignment music you want to put if you want to change that. And play mode also, there are like one time loop and all that kind of stuff, right? So you can play around with that and make sure your pads work correctly. Now the next one is the mic settings. If I click on mic settings, you have the low cut filter, of course, to reduce any AC or the desktop fans making a lot of noise, to cut out that. And you also have a limiter to limit the audio of the people speaking over the phone. So in this case, it's me, so I know I'll have a controlled voice, so I am not switched on the limiter, but I do have the low cut filter on. So going back to the menu settings, I have the file transfer option. So if I enable this option, it will automatically switch itself into the file transfer mode, which means you don't have to unplug this device and pull out the SD card, connect it to your computer, download the files and put it back on. The SD card can remain in your device, that is this Podtrak-P4, and just enable this mode and it will open up as an SD card reader on your laptop or desktop, and you're good to go. You can download the files and that's about it, you're done. You don't need to do anything else. And this one records each track into a separate folder, and then the combined track into one. So if you want to take a stereo mix of all the tracks, you can do that, or if you want to take individual tracks and combine it yourself, you can do that as well. What I've also observed is, although the headphone amps have little bit of a noise, but the recording thing itself does not have any noise baked into it. So what I'm understanding is the preamps which are in here are pretty good, and the recording has literally no noise, although it gives around 70 dB of gain, which means it can drive Shure SM7B. But this is a very good device to make sure that every recording runs out smoothly here, right? So that's something which I want to mention up here. Then the next one is the settings. If you hit the settings, you have USB mix minus. So for USB alone, that is the path number 4, there is a mix minus setting, which basically means that it's gonna not send the USB audio back to the person on USB. That is, if you are with the Skype caller, when you speak, it's not going to take the USB audio and put it back into your stream and send it back to the USB guy, so that it gets into an infinite loop on the echo mode. Although what I have experienced is, even if you don't do USB mix minus for advanced video calling like FaceTime or Skype, it automatically takes care of it. But if you enable this feature, it's a lot better feature if you enable this for some cases where it doesn't take care of itself, right? So once you're done with that, you have set date and type, LCD contrast, of course the type of battery, auto power off, SD card formatting, and factory reset. So these are all the main settings which you have with the menu. Like I said, you don't need to go into the menu thing. You don't need to do anything here. All that you need to do is set this thing, set the date up. If you want to change the music which comes out of it by default, you can change that here like I showed it to you in the menu, and you can just hit record and it'll start recording your audio coming out of the device. So it will also show you the different tracks. So if you see here, only track 1 is coming, which is coming out of this Movo microphone connected to the track 1. Apart from that, there is nothing else coming, and if there is anything coming from any of the other tracks, you can hear that and show what's coming up here as well. So based on that, you can control it. And as I was telling you, you have 4 microphone options, the 4 microphone outs here. So as you can see, there are 4 microphone outs, and these 4 microphone outs, basically you can connect headphones to each one of them and listen into it. And these are not TRRS cable, this is TRS cable. So basically you'll have to buy a adapter like this, which will convert your TRRS cable to TRS cable while listening to your headphones. So that's something which you have to take into consideration. And also, don't put heavy headphones onto this. I don't think so the amps here can drive that. So use simple ones like the ones which you get from Apple Store, which the connected stereo pin which you used to get it, or something which is easier on your headphones. Something which comes with your phone would be an ideal choice here. Don't go for a super sophisticated one. But the audio files which are coming out of this are really good. There is no noise. Literally, I couldn't hear anything. So if you get this device and if you're worried that 16-bit depth recording will create problems for you, I don't think so. It's a fantastic device. But if you're planning to use this device for getting a clean audio out into your DSLR camera, then I would recommend not to do that, because the only audio out coming out is here, and this is not clean. So there's no, the whole point of taking a clean out and feeding it into a DSLR is defeated just for the fact that this is not clean. These preamps are not clean, and it doesn't make any sense here, right? So but if you're feeding this into computer, and from the computer you're gonna record the file through OBS or something like that, and then take that file and sync it in post, yeah, you can do that. Or you can record it on this. You can connect like 4 microphones on this and then record it into this recorder, and then sync the files in the post. You can do that as well, and the noise levels are almost nil in this case. But like I said, if you're thinking that, hey, I'm getting 4 outs, can I connect it to 4 cameras of mine and I record it all in one shot and I don't have to do anything in post? Sorry, I think it will create a lot of noise. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about that option here. So that was a quick look at Zoom's new Podtrak-P4. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. I will try to answer as much as possible. If you have any questions on the cables I have, or the microphone which I have connected, do go ahead and ask those questions on the comment section as well. I'll be more than happy to respond back to you. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and do subscribe to my channel so that I can make more videos like this. Thank you, and bye-bye.